In today's video, we're talking about three coins that couldn't be more different from each other. First, we have Cardano, which was more or less declared dead at the start of the bull run, but is now saving some people's portfolios, or at least making them look not quite as bad. Second, we have Polkadot. There we have exactly the opposite situation. Polkadot entered the bull run with high expectations, but now runs the risk of becoming something of a flop. And third, we have Chainlink, which showed considerable strength at the beginning of the bull run, but is now noticeably weakening. We'll talk about which price levels each asset needs to hold, so that the bulls still have a chance to push the price further up. And we'll discuss what would happen if we fail to hold these price levels and what bearish prices we might have to expect. But of course, if the bulls win, we'll also talk about what prices could still be possible for each of these coins. So definitely stay tuned until the end of the video. Today is going to be very interesting again. My name is Arian from VisionCrypto. I hope you enjoy the video, and let's go. Before we start the analysis, I have one organizational point I'd like to discuss with you. Because in the last video, which was already 3 weeks ago, I announced a giveaway. Specifically, I said that if we manage to get 50 comments and 50 likes on the video, I would give away a free month of my Bitcoin analysis to one participant, that is to one comment, so you can get a taste of it. We did it. We got well over 100 likes and more than 70 comments. Thank you all so much for participating so actively in the giveaway. And at the end of the video, I will announce the lucky winner, who should then contact me either by email or via the Telegram group, so I can provide the access details. For today's video, I want to do another giveaway with you all. The same conditions apply again: 50 comments and at least 50 likes. And once more, one of you will have the chance to receive my Bitcoin analyses for a month free of charge. I'm just going to tweak things a little bit. Specifically in this video, I will give 2 hints about what should be included in your comment so that you can participate. But now we've talked long enough. I hope you enjoy the video, and of course I'd be delighted if you give it a strong push again and take part in the giveaway. But now let's get started. I'd like to begin with Cardano, which of course has also suffered due to the global situation in recent days and weeks. Let's just take the Iran-Israel conflict, but also the not so great press conference by Jerome Powell regarding the interest rates in the US. But I still remain bullish because there are definitely still plausible scenarios for me in which we could see good prices again. On a broader scale, we have the blue price box here. That's my overarching price target. It consists of an increase during the last bull run in a wave A, followed by a correction into wave B down to the bear market low at 22 cents. And then it moves up again in a wave C, where we would have a price target of $2.08 to about $3.24, which we could reach with Cardano. There is also a second count, which is also interesting. In this case, it would be that since the bear market low, as we can observe, we have formed a wave A in an ABC formation. Now again, in an ABC formation, a wave B. And we would now see another rise into a wave C upwards, where the price target would be between $2.27 and $2.46. And since the Fibonacci levels overlap here, that would also be my projected main target, where I would take my I'm keeping an eye on where Cardano's price could still go. Of course, it's not a new all-time high, but all things considered, especially since Cardano was almost declared dead at the start of the bear market and the start of the bull market, I think if we reach these levels, those would still be quite acceptable prices. The possibility of becoming even more bullish does exist, yes, because if we've completed wave 3 here, there would theoretically still be a wave 4 and a wave 5 to the upside. However, I'm not really focusing on those yet. First, the price needs to move up here, and if if we still see further potential after that, then we can talk about where additional price targets might be. Those of you who have been following me for a while and have subscribed to my channel, which you are also warmly invited to know that this isn't a channel where I just tell you what you want to hear to make you feel better. Instead, I tell you what I actually see in the chart, even if it doesn't sound so great or maybe doesn't quite meet your expectations, because it doesn't help anyone if you lure people into a prediction with empty talk and false hopes that will never come true, causing them not to sell when they should. Instead, it's better to say, okay, there is a downside to all of this, and maybe things aren't going quite as well as expected. Many people are already disillusioned. I can see that too, as the number of views is decreasing, because many are saying, I've had enough. For ages now, it's always been. Now it's starting, now it's starting, now it's starting, now it's starting, but nothing really significant happens, except for a few coins like Solana or DAO, but even they have seen heavy sell-offs recently. So in this case, we're dealing with bare numbers and realistic figures. Because there is a flip side. In order for us to even have a chance to move up here, a key level has to hold, and that's down here at $38.7. If we fall below that, not all is lost yet, but then the door opens very, very wide for this orange count. And in the worst case scenario, we'll get to why in a moment we could drop down to prices between 11 and in the worst case 5 cents. It doesn't have to go down that far, but the Fibonacci levels make it possible. How did I come to this conclusion? Here's the thing. Up here in the last bull run, we more or less completed a top, and now we are falling down into a wave A. Then we have an ABC structure for wave B, and after that there would be another wave C downward. That would also be an alternative too. This means that with Cardano and also with many other prices that aren't performing well at the moment, we haven't actually experienced a bull run yet. But are more or less still in a bear market, and that the whole thing was just a corrective bear market rally with this wave 2 only happening later on, because the target range, the standard target range for a wave 2 lies between the 0.5 and 0.6 Fibonacci levels, and in the last bear market we stayed just above that. So it's definitely possible that Cardano could drop down here again, and that we still need to complete wave 2 before we can start moving upward from there. So that's also something that is quite realistic. Personally, since I'm also invested in Cardano and believe in the project, I would of course prefer if we saw another push here so that you could calmly sell and then just sit back on the sidelines, wait and see, okay, do I want to reinvest in the price again or not? Because the risk, of course, is that if we actually drop down again, we'll have a steadily falling price, and that's not good, because that would create an extremely strong resistance that Cardano would have to overcome in the next attempt. And that's why I personally keep a very close eye on the price and will draw my own conclusions from. I can only recommend to you as well, subscribe to my Cardano chart analysis. You'll receive a written update 3 times a week, where we go even deeper, because this is just a daily chart which only gives a rough forecast. On the smaller time frame, you can sometimes already see in advance where certain structures will hold or break, just like we see here on the larger scale. And then you can better assess whether the price is about to break and drop down, or whether there's still a chance for a sustainable upward move. Now let's move on to Polkadot. With Polkadot, it's actually the complete opposite. Polkadot is disappointing across the board, and I consider it almost impossible for us to reach the all-time high again, because unfortunately I only have 2 bearish forecasts for you here. As much as I regret it. And in this case, it would be that Polkadot has only managed, so to speak, a bear market rally. And we can already see here that there's a very strong resistance at roughly $12, where the price has already been rejected twice. And each time this was followed by a sharp sell-off. On the other hand, we also have good support here, which is at $3.52. We have already been caught there several times. That happened here once, then here we had a price stop, and there it happened again. Here we dropped below it once, but not in a sustained way. That's important. And at the moment we are testing this line again. So Polkadot is really showing a lot of weakness. And yeah, where could things go from here? So it's extremely difficult to move up here because we're up against this resistance that has been active since 2022. Since then, we've gone from support into resistance. So it's really tough to get past this level. For me, it's much more likely that we'll just move into this target box here before the price continues to drop further. That would mean that since our bull market top here, we've completed a wave 1, then an A, B, C into wave 2. This is actually exactly the target area, almost precisely for a wave 2 where the price reversed. And now we're moving downward in a wave 1 of 3 and a wave 2 of 3. That would be this trend reversal area here, 3 of 3, 4 of 3, 5 of 3. Then we would already be at a price that would lie between 2.14 and 1.68 before the price then moves into a wave 4, then a larger wave 5 downward. And only then would we find a price bottom, which, although it can't be predicted yet since a few wave structures are still missing, could of course also end up somewhere below $1. And then the question arises whether Polkadot will ever manage to rise again. The difficulty here is that this wave 2, which is located in this particular price box, actually needs a clear 3-part upward movement. And we already have that present here in the form of a wave AB. So even though it's very shallow, we've already met the minimum requirements for a wave 2, at least according to the standard criteria. All we can hope for now is that this was only a wave A, that we are now moving down into a wave B, and that there will then be a wave C upwards so that we move back up into the price box. I would like to see us reach prices between $6 and $7 again here before we then sell off downward. But it's not guaranteed because we've already reached the target once and the 3-part movement has already taken place here. So you really have to watch closely how the price develops. It would also be interesting here if you're still invested in Polkadot, subscribe to the whole thing so that you already know in advance, okay, maybe I should exit the position before this worst case scenario happens. The count in the white structure would be a bit more bullish. There everything would be the same, just built out a bit higher overall. In that case, it would mean that we have formed a wave A here. Then we would have an A, B, C for wave B and are now moving upwards into wave C in 5 parts, entering here again. But we have to overcome this resistance, and after that the price collapses and drops down here again. That would be the forecast for Polkadot. That what I can tell you along the way, and to everyone who says it, least in this cycle, that Polkadot is still going to be a huge hit. In my opinion, it won't be. And I say that even though I myself am invested in Polkadot and would like to see something substantial come out of it, but I just don't quite trust that everything will work out. If this white structure plays out, then there's a chance that we could drop down again and have a fresh new start. Now let's get to the giveaway. Write in the comments, I unfortunately forgot to mention this with Cardano. So we'll do both conditions now with Polkadot. Please write in the comments, where do you see the bull run top for Bitcoin? Write the number in the comments, and afterwards also tell me your favorite coin, the one you consider your top pick. And everyone who answers like this with their numbers will also take part in this giveaway. But overall, for the 50 comments we need, every comment counts except those from spammers, of course. All right, and with that, let's move on to Chainlink to wrap things up. With Chainlink, we also have a bullish count, although I unfortunately had to revise it downward a bit before. Specifically, since the bull run top, we've developed a wave B here. That is, wave A occurred at the last peak of the bull run. Here we have a wave B as a correction, and now we're moving upward into a wave C. For that, we have a price target between 58 and 72 US dollars, which is still possible here. On the smaller time frame, it would look like this. We have a wave 1 here, then an A, B, C into wave 2. Then comes wave 3, which could be either 5-part or 3-part. That remains to be seen. Then a wave 4, and finally a wave 5, where we could reach this target. You always have to consider that we are in a trend channel here, and you can say that the price will collapse again at some point. This could already be happening now. We will reach the white count or even later, because most of the time a trend channel like this breaks out in the direction it was heading. So it was approached from top to bottom. As a rule, it should also exit this trend channel from top to bottom. When that will happen, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, it would be better for us if it only does that up here and then plunges downward and not already here. But it can happen because we have this yellow price box here and our key level is at $6.76. So the price must not fall below this level, because then the white count will be activated. And it's similar to Cardano in that the bear market for Chainlink wouldn't actually be over yet, but we'd just be in a 3-part corrective upward movement, and we would only complete this wave 2, which we have here, down at this lower level. And with Chainlink, the whole thing is even more extreme, because as we've already said, the target area for wave 2 lies between the 0.5 and 0.618 Fibonacci levels, and Chainlink has only just barely reached this wave 2 right at the 0.382 Fibonacci level. This means the price still has a lot of room to further develop this wave 2, even though for me this is just the alternative scenario at the moment and could go even lower. And that puts us at prices between $2.58 and $1.26. So the key level is $6.76. The price has to hold above this for us to continue seeing upward momentum and for the bulls to be able to push the price higher. Here with Chainlink as well, it's of course very interesting. I've just added a new target zone in the latest update, which allows us to see early on whether there will be another drop or if the price is now moving upward. So if you're interested in these 3 courses or additionally other courses that interest you, what do I have here in my portfolio, or rather in analysis? Of course, Bitcoin. I can only recommend everyone to subscribe to the Bitcoin analysis. It is also being raffled off for 1 month now, because Bitcoin remains the leading currency. And while the other prices won't follow it exactly 1-to-1, they will generally always be oriented around Bitcoin. Then, in addition to Cardano, Polkadot, and Chainlink, of course, we also have XRP. There will be another video coming out tomorrow where I go into the long-term forecast for XRP and also introduce you to a very exciting pre-sale for a DEX that is about to launch, which will run on the XRP ledger. Definitely check it out. I think it's a great thing. Then we have Algorand, then we have PSI, then SUI, and also, for example, Quant. Then we have GLQ, then CKB, Solana, and many more. Take a look at that in the video description below. There's a link to Patreon. Everything is explained there in a bit more detail, or you can also join directly through a YouTube membership. But it is a bit more expensive because YouTube simply charges higher fees than Patreon does. Yeah, thank you. Don't forget about the giveaway, and finally we'll now reveal who won the giveaway from last time. Drum roll. This is Daniel Nguyen, Jade Q. This comment has won. Please get in touch with me. Of course, it's also really nice as an extra bonus. It's just a coincidence, but I saw that you've been subscribed to my channel for a year already. Thank you so much for your loyalty. Get in touch with me Either join my Telegram group and message me there or send me an email. We just need to quickly verify that, and then you'll have the opportunity to test this Bitcoin analysis completely free for 1 month. If anyone else is interested, join in. I'll say thank you now and wish you a wonderful weekend, a sunny weekend. Enjoy your time. I've heard it's supposed to be the warmest weekend of the whole year. We'll definitely see each other in the next video, and bye.